Good afternoon and welcome to SAIT Newsfile. I'm Daniel Barker-Tremblay. Me and Matushak will have a look at all the highlights later in the show. What can we expect?
Well, we're gonna have some Flames highlights, we're gonna have some Raptors highlights, and of course, a little look at what's going on here at home with the SAIT Trojans.
Oh, I'm looking forward to those Flames highlights. Jace Chua will be taking in the sunshine outside. Jace, what's the temperature looking like out there?
Well, Dan, the weather's looking perfect to celebrate St. Paddy's Day out in the patios. Right now it's 10 degrees and partly cloudy. The record high for March 17th was back in 1885 at 18 degrees, while the record low was in 1989 at minus 26. Can you imagine celebrating St. Paddy's Day back then? I'll make sure to have your guys' full weather forecast later on in the show.
Thanks, Jace. Now here's a look at today's top stories. The crisis of Ukraine continues as civilians in Ukraine are being attacked. In the city of Sharif, citizens in Ukraine were in line in front of a grocery store getting bread when Russians aimed down their sights towards them. Over 10 people were killed in front of the store. As the days progress in Ukraine, mothers, fathers, and grandparents continue to prepare their loved ones for their final resting place, and some wanting to join the front lines in the fight. The federal government has announced that it has begun accepting applications from Ukrainians and families fleeing from Russian aggression into Canada. When the announcement was made, it was originally suggested that Ukrainian citizens would be allowed to stay in Canada for 2 years before making the decision to apply to permanent residence. However, 2 years has now become 3 years, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said that the government is open to the idea, sending planes to bring Ukrainians into Canada once their applications have been approved. Canadians will no longer need to provide a pre-arrival COVID-19 test. The Government of Canada announced it will be removing the pre-arrival COVID testing for travelers that are fully vaccinated and that are looking to go on vacation. Starting April 1st, vaccinated travelers won't need to test on the last day of vacation, along with having to isolate during their travels. Unvaccinated Canadians, however, will have to isolate for 14 days and will be subjugated to a molecular test, both for arriving and the 8 days later. Here is the latest update for COVID numbers in the city of Calgary. There are currently 2,214 active cases in Calgary. 314 people are still in the ICU. More than 211,000 Calgarians have recovered from COVID. There's been almost 1,600 deaths in the city since the pandemic began 2 years ago. Calgary Police Services are asking on both sides of the COVID-19 pandemic restrictions debate and are advised to stay away from the city's Beltline area this weekend. Authorities say people and businesses in the area have been deeply affected by the ongoing demonstrations. The protests have been ongoing for 2 years since the pandemic began. Area residents are growing in frustration by the disruption since the restrictions have been lifted in Alberta. With inflation rising, the costs of everyday purchases such as groceries and gas, students are attending the University of Calgary this fall will also be hit with an increase in their tuition. As Suhaib Yusuf reports, for some students, it's already a struggle now.
For students in many programs, those already high costs are on an uptick. The province's advanced education minister has approved a plan by the UFC for major increases to tuition in engineering, medicine, and the Master of Business Administration programs.
Keep in mind that these increases come on the back of 3 consecutive 10% increases for engineering students through the normal tuition process, and that tuition has increased by about 25% across the board at the University of Calgary over the last 3 years.
The hike in tuition will only impact domestic students applying for the upcoming 2022 to 23 semester. For students in the engineering program, they can expect to see an increase of 32%. But it is important to note that the cost of tuition for engineering at the UFC remains below the national average. Although a hike in tuition isn't exactly what students would describe as beneficial, some students see the potential benefits with a tuition increase.
Students have actually enjoyed the further support and funding from, for example, like the Schulich Students Activities Fund, the self-fund that I know is sort of being worked on behind the scenes to be improved on by the Engineering Student Society.
The U of C provided a statement that the tuition increases will be put to use to enhance program quality and the student experience. Students who have seen a hike in their tuition costs are fighting for metrics on how to exactly gauge how programs are improved by tuition increases, as well as for schools to properly consult students before any additional hikes. Though students can't help but be concerned about the additional hikes, as it will only add more stress and worry.
More flexible due dates for the students. So students who have to work a lot and have to increase their workload, their outside workload, to accommodate the new or the rising tuition prices, maybe they are allowed to have a little bit more time to complete their work.
For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Suhaib Yusuf.
March is here, which means it's time for prospective post-secondary students to start making their decisions about which school they will attend. With that in mind, SAIT will be hosting its virtual open house this Saturday. Tony Trozo has the story.
This SAIT virtual open house is right around the corner, as decision time is looming for prospective students. There are multiple factors that go into deciding which institution to attend, but with the current economy, how much it might cost may be the biggest.
When looking at post-secondary options, obviously one of the biggest things I'd look for would be affordability. So costs of, tuition, housing, if I'm looking at moving out and staying on campus, or food, like meal plans and such, and also like the state of the economy.
While the virtual open house may not provide the full experience, it does give post-secondary institutions a great avenue to share what they offer to people all over the world. But for local students, missing out on the in-person elements could potentially sway their decision.
I think that a virtual open house does not quite please people the same way as an in-person open house would, because you kind of miss that connection of seeing things in person and everything.
Virtual setting may not be ideal for all of the parties involved. It's something that will be around for the foreseeable future.
I think that virtual events aren't going anywhere for anyone anytime soon, especially for post-secondary. The virtual space really does allow for us to connect to people who aren't in the immediate Calgary area.
Whether it's the campus culture or the program that accompanies it, the virtual open house has the opportunity to pull prospective students towards choosing SAIT as their school of choice. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Tony Trozo.
Almost 3,000 Canadian Pacific Railway employees could be off the job on Sunday morning. The company has issued a 72-hour notice late last night to Teamsters Canada of its plan to lock out employees early Sunday if the union and the company can't reach a contract deal or an agreement to binding arbitration. Jobs, Economy, Innovation Minister Doug Schweitzer announced support for clean energy projects today. Gavin Miller attended the conference at the University of Calgary and is SAIT's Green Technologies building with the story. Gavin, tell us about these exciting announcements for Alberta's energy sector.
Thanks, Daniel. This morning, Schweitzer, along with a handful of professionals from the clean energy industry, held a conference announcing further support. The partnership with the University of Calgary will help attract and develop researchers in clean, sustainable energy.
We look at everything that's happened here, from carbon capture to unlocking the oil sands to being a leader in all forms of energy and ESG. Alberta has an amazing record.
$13 million will fund up to 22 projects in Alberta, along with other resources from the federal government and private sectors for $47 million total. Minister Schweitzer hopes the investments will create up to 2,000 jobs within the next 5 years in Alberta. The funding is expected to provide resources for focusing on reducing utility costs and augmented intelligence used to lower CO2 emissions. It's something innovators here in Alberta are happy to see.
They're going to be using what's funded today to optimize operations in the field, to improve environmental performance by reducing water and energy consumption and reducing CO2 and methane emissions, improving operational safety, reducing risk for the worker, improving battery design and storage capacity, and don't we need more of that today?
Oh, we can't even hear. That's great.
Of this research is to improve the world around us and appreciates the funding and partnership with the university. Back to you, Daniel.
That was Gavin Miller reporting from SAIT's Green Technology House on the northwest corner of the campus. It can be overwhelming to be prepared for breakfast in the morning while you are getting late for your class. SAIT wants to make sure you have, or that every student are being taken care of by providing students with breakfast cart every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Liz Dang has the story.
Do you know eating a healthy breakfast before starting your day can help improve your concentration, increase energy, have a better score on your exam? Having a full stomach also helps you focus on your lessons. SAIT is trying to be sure all students are well fed by providing them with a free breakfast every Wednesday morning. They are giving out different varieties of food that you can choose from.
Students know that your Students Association is here to take care of you. We really want you to feel like you're nourished, like that you have a good breakfast, at least once a week.
Studies shows a substantial number of post-secondary students face food insecurities, with many of them struggling to pay tuition while working part-time or struggle with the student loans. Breakfast is known as the most important meal of the day, and it's exceptionally important for students whose brain use up a lot of energy, especially when you are looking forward to have a long day at school.
And our goal is to help the students be able to make sure that they have all the resources enough to be able to go through the day, through the week, or through the year.
Students can check the SAITSA website to learn more about what they do and different events that they host to help students.
SAITSA not only provide you a free breakfast once a week. If you are having a food emergency, you can contact SAITSA for a grocery gift card or a referral to Calgary Food Bank. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Liz Day.
Those are your today's top stories. We'll have a full forecast after the break with Jace Chua. But first, Jaron Fisher has a look at what's going on around Calgary this week.
Today's Paddy's Day. The Honey Bar is hosting a mega party going all night. Come out, get some drinks, and have a shamrock of a time. If partying isn't your scene, you can still head out for dinner and dancing at the Polaris Center. General seating costs $40 and includes an Irish meal and a concert. If music is your scene, come check out the Beethoven 5 and 5. The concert on Friday and Saturday features Symphony No. 5 performed by an award-winning pianist. Bring your children to the Mouse Children's Art Studio Saturday to try different art therapy activities. Ticket registration is required, but the sessions are free. Prepare for more colors Saturday with the Holi Hungama Festival of Colors. This East Indian Spring Festival will have dancing, dinner, and the main event, the color throw. So be sure to wear white and something you're okay getting painted on. Wrap the weekend up right with Carnival Comedy at the Honey Lounge.
Welcome back to SAIT Newsfile, where we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day. I'm your host, Jace Chua. At Jameson's Pub, we can see people celebrating the holiday and wearing some green. The perfect color to signal spring as it rolls into Canada. That's not the only thing rolling into Canada. Over on into the west side of the country, in Vancouver, that they're getting a low air pressure system coming in from the Pacific coast that's bringing in these rainy conditions in Vancouver that won't let up until the weekend. Over in Alberta, they're getting a high air pressure system that's coming in from Illinois that's making some nice high temperatures down in the southern provinces. More or less can be said about Regina and Winnipeg, where they're getting some nice single-digit temperatures. And over into the east side, they're getting a low air pressure system coming in from the mainland that's pushing clouds all across the coast, where you can see Toronto, Montreal, Halifax, and St. John's experiencing some similar cloudy conditions. But you know where there isn't cloud? Over in the resorts, where it's nice and sunny. Let's go take a look. It's a great day to chill by the pool in Palm Springs today, and in Barbados, it looks like the rain won't let up until the weekend. In Cancun, it's 24 and cloudy. The clouds in Honolulu are making it a comfortable 26 degrees. Orlando's sitting at 19 degrees, and in Sin City, it's sunny at 15 degrees. In Calgary today, the temperature is 10 degrees and partly cloudy. The wind is coming in from the southeast at 6 kilometers an hour. Later on tonight, you can expect more clouds to come and roll in. Now let's take a look at the province. We were talking a little bit about that high air pressure system coming down, and in the south you can see that there's some double-digit conditions in Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, and Calgary.
As the air cools into the center of the provinces, they're getting some lower temperatures, but at least they're getting some sun. In Edmonton and Red Deer, it's both 4 degrees respectively. Fort McMurray, over at the top, isn't looking too bad in the north of the province, sitting at 7 degrees. Now let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. Tonight, you can expect a low of -1, but tomorrow and Saturday, you can expect these double digits to continue at 10 degrees and 11 degrees. The snow isn't stopping, however, because on Sunday, you can expect some flurries with a high of +4 and a low of -2. On Monday, you can expect a high of +10 and a low of 3 degrees. Now, me and Matushak will take a look at your sports highlights right after this commercial break.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Do you think you know someone that is struggling with suicide? The Center for Suicide Prevention provides workshops and other resources of information to help you assist someone at risk of suicide. The Center for Suicide Prevention. We educate for life.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. With industry-standard technology and the best instructors in the business, SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
Welcome back to SAIT Newsfile. Mia Batushak joins us now for a look at the latest highlights. What can we expect, Mia?
Yeah, absolutely. So lucky for us, we had a bunch of games last night, and our Canadian teams actually won all of them. So we have a lot of great updates here.
I'm looking forward to it, especially for the Calgary Flames highlights.
Oh, yeah. With the SAIT men's basketball team winning an ACAC title, nationals are just around the corner. SAIT is one of the top teams in the country and won't disappoint, especially after winning the title 5 years in a row. Easton Ham has more on how the team is feeling going in.
With nationals set to begin on March 24th, the SAIT men's basketball team is hard at work. The team feels it has all the pieces, and anyone can take over at any time. The Trojans are one of the top-ranked teams in the country, so expectations are high.
Expectations are to win a championship. SAIT in the past is known for making nationals every year. They've made it the past 4 years. Just haven't been able to get it done in nationals, but that's our main goal this year.
This will be the first time the Trojans play these teams all year, but Trojans leading scorer Marcus Masters isn't worried.
I think we can match up with all of them, to be honest. We have size, we have guard play, and we have depth on the bench. So, in other words, I think it's hard for them to match up with us.
Many sports fans say defense wins championships, and Trojans guard Amin Solomon agrees.
Straight up defense. That's what's going to win us a championship. That's what won us an ACAC championship. That's what got us our first place in the conference. So straight up defense is what's going to win us a championship.
Marty Berkey, the team's head coach, is no stranger to coaching at nationals and says the goal is to win a championship. He says all that's left is to execute.
It's just focus and preparation. That's all you can do. When you get to nationals, everyone's good, so you got to show up.
This is not the men's basketball team's first rodeo when it comes to nationals. Since 2017, the team has failed to place on the podium, with their best finish being 5th. Will this be the year SAIT finally breaks through? For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Easton Ham.
The Calgary Flames have doused out the New Jersey Devils in last night's game with a final score of 6-3. The game begins 10 minutes in the first period as Brett Ritchie scores his first goal from an assist from Dylan Dubé. 7 minutes later, the Devils' Dawson Mercier lands a puck in the Flames' net, tying the score 1-1. Next period, Andrew Mangiapane, he scores his 30th goal of the season. The second period is action-packed with a goal for the Devils and one from Dubé, Tkachuk, and Lucic, making it 3 goals for the Flames. The Saddle Dome lit up last night with a final score of 6-3 for the Calgary Flames. As you can see, the fans are going absolutely wild. The game was action-packed as the two teams ping-ponged the puck and each other's goals. Matthew Tkachuk showed fans his heat with a goal and 2 assists against the Devils. Flames goalie Jacob Markstrom carried with a whopping 30 saves, only letting 3 slip through. The Flames are playing against the Sabres tomorrow. The Calgary Flames have made a changing decision, fixing the glaring hole in the team's third line. For the second time this month, General Manager Brad Treliving made an important decision for the Flames. Seattle's utility forward, Calle Jarnkrok, will replace Adam Ruzicka. The team is familiar with the addition, as Jarnkrok is cousins with Elias Lindholm and grew up in the same town as Jacob Markstrom. By giving up 5 draft picks and a prospect to grab Jarnkrok and Toffoli, we can all see the Flames are all in. In terms of women's hockey, the NHL has asked the PWHPA and the PHF to come to an agreement that would combine the leagues. Members of the PWHPA were informed about a substantial multi-million-dollar deal that would allow the league to move forward. It sounds like an 8 to 10 year commitment. Details of how the proposed league would operate remain unknown at this time. NHL teams themselves are hesitant to partner with the Women's League without the blessing of NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman. The Calgary Hitmen have overcome their 7-game losing streak with a win against the Brandon Wheat Kings last night. The game was intense. Zach Funk scored 1 goal and held 2 assists, and Blake Stevenson brought in the 2 goals for the Hitmen. Additionally, Zimmerman and Queering both landed a point for the scoreboard, adding up to 5 full goals for Calgary. Brandon finished 1 out of 8 on a man advantage, while Calgary scored 1 on 5 chances. The Calgary Hitmen's next game will be tomorrow night against the Edmonton Oil Kings. The Toronto Raptors sniped the LA Clippers last night, winning with a score of 103-100. With just under 8 minutes in fourth and a score of 86-81, Toronto, the Raptors start with a dunk from Scotty Barnes. Pascal passes the ball to the top of the key to Precious Achiuwa for a 3-pointer. On the Raptors' next possession, with 3 minutes left in fourth, Marcus Morris drains a 3 to pull the Clippers within reach of Toronto. The score being Fred VanVleet laid down the opponent and stole a basket. Reggie Jackson comes in with an insane reverse layup, and seconds later, Nicole Batum nails a 3. In the final seconds, the Raptors managed to hang on for the win after Marcus Morris misses a 3. The game had everyone on edge, and each quarter was head-to-head in points. First quarter was 28-26 for Toronto. Second, Raptors extended their lead with 26 more points over the Clippers' 18. Third, Clippers gained some ground, scoring 30 over the Raptors' 25. And the action was overwhelming in fourth with a close 25-26, bringing Toronto to their 103-point win. Matt Chapman was acquired by the Toronto Blue Jays in a trade with the Oakland Athletic yesterday. Shortstop Kevin Smith, right-handed pitcher Gunnar Hoagland, left-handed starter Zach Louge, and left-handed receiver Kirby Snead were sent to Oakland in exchange for the All-Star. The 28-year-old Chapman had a 0.210 batting average, 27 home runs for the Athletics last season, earning him his 3rd Gold Glove. Manager Charlie Montoyo says adding Chapman's glove to the left side of the field will help the team climb up to AL East standings. And that's a look at sports.
Wow, honestly, like the best thing ever was seeing the Calgary Flames, squash the New Jersey Devils. You gotta love to see it, honestly.
Oh, I am a huge Flames fan, and I'm optimistic that they might actually have a chance at winning the Stanley Cup this year.
I honestly feel the same way, and honestly, I hope they don't repeat themselves in the 2019 season.
Yeah, I mean, since 1988, that's how long it's been, so we definitely want to see that happen. That's personally, I don't know.
And we don't talk about the 2004 season either. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, there's been a couple of rough ones.
After the break, Jaron Fisher will have a look at what's the latest in the world of entertainment. Stay with us.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. with industry standard technology and the best instructors in the business. SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
Calgary's entertainment scene is feeling electric recently. Giving us the latest updates in entertainment is Newsfile's own Jaron Fisher in the newsroom. Jaron, what's shaking up in the city this week?
Yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day today, Dan. So we've got some parties and shows, but let's see what concerts we have going on this weekend. Foreigner, the 80s rock band, is finally coming to town after being delayed for nearly a year. The band has sold more than 80 million albums and is consistently in classic rock's top 20 list. They're hitting the stage at the Grey Eagles Resort on both Saturday and Sunday. Or take it smooth with some jazz featuring Canadian vocalist Molly Johnson.
Make me wanna holler the way I do my life.
Johnson has been singing since she was in grade school and is known for her charity work, raising more than $1 million for people living with HIV. She is holding 2 shows Friday night. One is at 7 and another is at 9:30 p.m. Enjoy a relaxing jazz-filled night at the King Eddie. We can't forget about St. Patrick's Day. Families can get together to celebrate at the Irish Cultural Festival. Join for food, drink, and a show featuring Irish music from the Kevin Friel Trio and traditional Irish dancing by the POSSAK Hampshire Academy of Irish Dance. The Academy dancers are internationally recognized and have won national titles in competition. Families can watch the show at the Irish Cultural Center tonight at 5. For those of you who'd rather not head out tonight, sink yourself into a new game. Play as an adorable fox wearing a tunic in an isometric action video game inspired by the Legend of Zelda series. The game is made by a small independent studio making up of just 7 employees and has received high praise from both players and reviewers. Explore a land full of mystery, powers, and monsters in Tunic this weekend. And that's a look at the latest entertainment. Back to you, Dan.
Honestly, that's amazing for a package for the entertainment section here in the city of Calgary. Thanks, Jaron. The stress to complete the projects and pass tests with good grades only grows larger as the semester winds down. SAIT wants to alleviate some of the stress every other week, so it hosts Pet a Puppy event. Suhaib Yusuf has more.
Dogs are known to be great for those who suffer with mental problems, but they can help you release the hormone oxytocin, which is also known as the love hormone. Oxytocin gets released whenever you hug someone, so petting the smooth, soft fur of a dog can help alleviate stress quicker, and it can help also lower your heart rate and overall blood pressure.
Stress, I get to meet relaxed dogs, get to de-stress and meet dogs that are relaxed. My dog's a little hyper and crazy, so it's good to just see some ones that lay around and accept the love.
Every Wednesday, SAIT hosts its Wellness Wednesdays, and SAIT, in collaboration with the Pet Access League Society, or PALS, brings in trained therapy dogs to help students relax and de-stress from a long day. SAIT is also working on other events to help students take a break from their academics.
We're planning our De-Stress Fest, which we typically do every year, especially pre-COVID, where we have different things that students can participate in, different events, so that they can kind of de-stress a little bit from their exam period.
Pet a Puppy has been going on for almost 3 years now, but for some students, visiting the pups is just their first time.
Whether you just had a long test or a long exam or a big project to work on, having a pup to pet after that day really helps de-stress. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Suhaib Yusuf.
Everyone loves puppies, don't they?
Oh yes, of course.
So cute.
And that was today's show. Thank you for tuning in to SAIT Newsfile.